Welcome to podcast number 2 for 2025, Alex Cora Center for Kids Who Can't Hit Good. Welcome, Mike.
Heyo, what's up, Dave?
Sporting the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yes, and for our new Pope, the
I
White
have that
Sox
written
hat.
here. I
Yeah,
wrote Pope Sox fan.
yeah. Well, that's controversy because some people are saying he's a Cubs fan, but we see the pics.
I, s- I saw, yeah, they said they saw him at the 2005 World Series. There's a
Yep.
video of him there. Pope
Yeah,
Leo, I guess.
I'm gonna hope he's a Sox fan because the Mets are playing the Cubs right now, so I can't have
Yeah, you don't
the
need Jesus on your
no.
as your enemy. Here we go. Adam's joining us. Maybe. Fusion. Malvern.
And now,
Yes. Welcome.
What's up, guys?
We
heyo.
tried Google Meet, but Mike and I just talked for a while and then it said you can't record. So Zoom.
Sorry I'm
Um,
late.
actually you're not because we were just we're
You're
good.
right on time.
We just talked about the Pope being a White Sox fan.
He went to Villanova.
Yeah, he's rooting for the
Yep.
Knicks.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
mean,
as a
Villanova
Celtics
you.
fan, I'm not happy about what's happening right now in Boston.
That's quite the shock, right?
Oh yeah.
They play tomorrow.
Yep.
I guess the Celtics need to win at least. Is it 2-3-2 or 2-2-1-1-1?
I I would guess, but I have no idea. I'm
Let's
always wrong
whatever
because
you
I
every
think
say on
it's
the
sport is
one one
different.
answer.
one in NBA, isn't it?
I know
Yeah,
Major League Baseball's 2-3-2, if
yeah.
that
NBA is
helps.
probably 2-2-1-1-1.
Um, so Adam, we're going to start with a quote today that I'll have to escape full screen so I can get to that quote. Tony
Mike,
Gwynn.
are you wearing a White Sox hat because the Pope is a White Sox fan?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's our home team. He's now when he comes to the U.S., it's just a home court advantage. So
Okay. Yeah.
Tony Gwynn, if he were alive, would have turned 65 today. And I wanted to start with a quote from him. He has a couple, no good ones, just to be honest, not great ones, but he has one that says, "What drives me is trying to be perfect." And then he says, "I'm a chemistry guy. I believe you've got to play together to have a chance to win." Now, I don't want to take down a dead man, but
but I
Padres never
will.
won when he was, well, the Padres have never won. I don't think
I
they
don't
won.
believe
They
so.
lost to the Yankees in the World Series after beating the Braves. That was a year after the Braves lost. They won the first two in New York and then lost
Padres
the
have a
next four.
squad this year.
They do. What do you drink? What's everyone drinking?
I'm drinking the Jack Daniels and cherry Coca-Cola.
Oh,
Wow, nice. Wine for Dave.
wine for days. Pale. How's the pale ale, Stifler?
I think of Jesse Carriget every time I see this,
It's a
but
fun
it's a good
story.
beer.
I never liked that beer, but he did lend his company vehicle to me to go on an interview for grad school. Fun fact, they tracked that shit and he got caught and got fired. And my way to say sorry was to buy him a 12 pack of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. So sorry about your job. Here's a 12 pack.
It's
Um,
dark.
yeah. So I have a really funny, it actually came up today, but I'm not going to reveal it yet, but it's a segment idea and I actually did some work behind it. I was in a text with Tom and it came up and he laughed at it. So I usually gauge if it's funny if Tom laughs at it. So I think it's funny. I have a couple like I've gone through some things here, like the hot topics,
Mhm.
and then I want to talk about is it time to panic for any team in majors and our fantasy league?
Okay.
But let's go through some. Do you have any hot topics? Anything this week? We haven't talked in like 3 weeks.
I have
Anything going
a
on?
I have just a couple like little stat tidbits.
Do it.
Um,
Sarah Langus.
so it's going to be Mets heavy the first half, unfortunately. a little bit, and Mets adjacent. So Jacob DeGrom through 225 games, reached 1,700 strikeouts. That's the fastest a pitcher has ever done that.
That's incredible. He hasn't even played.
And he's learning, relearning how to pitch this year. I think it seems like.
Is he still
Um,
throwing hard?
yeah, the velocity is not what it was, but it's high 90s again. And then we have Juan Soto, the most career walks before turning 27 with 798. His birthday is October 25th, so he's going to have a lot more before then. And then the record before that's beating Mickey Mantle. And then the record before turning 28 is also by Mickey Mantle. That's 892. So something to watch for Soto
Well, maybe he can. Is it possible he could beat that
by the
This
time
number?
he
year,
turns 27,
Yeah.
probably.
especially in
And
that
then,
lineup.
yeah. And Mets
Granted, it's no Aaron
home
Judge.
run all time leaders. Strawberry first, right, and then Alonso is now third in Mets all time. He's only 7 home runs behind David Wright in second place.
What's Strawberries? How far is that? Do you know?
Strawberry's 252, Wright's 242, and then Alonso's 235.
Oh shit, he's gonna pass that.
Yep.
If he
And
can beat
then
that, because do you think Alonso's in a contract year, right?
he's
Again,
yeah he's gonna get paid after this year by somebody.
he turned it on this year.
Yeah.
Testa have him, I think.
Mm. And then a couple more. The Mariners have won 9 straight series. That's the longest streak since they had won 15 in 2001, which I believe was the record setting wins year.
And that's when they lost to the Yankees in the ALCS. I remember
Yep.
that Griffey, Randy Johnson.
And then the Tigers had a doubleheader this weekend where they won both games by 8 or more runs. They scored 29 runs in 24 hours.
At Colorado.
Yep. And then the last team to win 2 doubleheader games by 8 or more runs was the Astros in 2016.
These are good tweets. Whatever
These
you're
are all
reading.
these are all Sarah Lang's slangs on sports on X, the everything app.
Nice. That was a good plug.
Yeah.
Um, Sarah Lang, we talked a little off camera about her that Sunday Night Baseball, she usually gets quoted by those guys.
Yeah, she's a fiend on baseball reference.
Okay. Um, a quick aside about Sunday Night Baseball. My wife, Christina, hates listening to the guy who sounds like he has something caught in his throat. Hispanic guy. I can't think
Oh
of.
yeah.
I hate that guy, Perez.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Eduardo.
Eduardo Perez. She said, but and I said, I think he's Hispanic. They like to fill that, not trying to do the DEI, but I mean, he is because everyone else they did it with the woman, now him,
Hmm.
and he played before, like he's a major league veteran. And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, but you have to be good at talking to be on like broadcast. And I mean, it's funny to get her opinion on this shit.
I think if there's any sport you don't, it's baseball.
They're inserting women in playoff hockey right now. I don't know. Every hockey game has a woman announcer with it.
I thought you were going to say like on the ice,
Just a
like
random new
just
rule.
random fans, bring them on down. It's like the golfer at the Masters if they have an odd number.
Just pick one.
Yeah.
Before we get into baseball, are you watching an NHL? It's fun. It is fun, man. I'm
Yeah.
addicted to it.
Electric.
I'm
Yeah.
watching the damn Oilers Golden Knights series like it matters to me. And
The Oilers were down 2-0 against the Blues, or maybe even 3-1, and they came back and beat the Blues.
yeah,
In like, or was that the Jets double overtime?
there were two game sevens. Whatever team that defenseman's on who got traded from the Avalanche, it was against the Avalanche. Who played the
The
Avalanche?
Star, he's on the Stars, Rico
Oh,
Yeah,
Tano.
Racketon. Yeah.
he had a hat trick in third period of game seven against
Oh
his old
gosh.
team that traded him to the Stars. It's like the what?
To qualify to clinch, and then the next game he scored a hat trick again.
Yeah,
That's wild.
but no, that's Minnesota.
And these are nice. And these are
Um,
against like really good goalies.
Yeah.
well, the Hegland, what team is he on? He struggled, but then showed up.
Hmm.
It might have been that, not the Stars, another Game 7 team. Whatever series went to Game
That's
7.
and that's the NHL historically, I think, is if a goalie just plays his ass off for 4 straight weeks, they
Hmm.
might win, you know.
That was happening
That
last
was
year in
like the
Washington.
Sabres
Wheeler.
with Ryan Miller until the Sabres fell off of
He
a
was
cliff.
great.
Mm.
Dominic Hasek, Sabres had some really good goalies there. All right,
So
baseball.
Mike said that in 24 hours, the who was it scored 29 runs?
Tigers.
Tigers.
It took 10 games for the Braves to score 29 runs this season.
Yikes.
Is that at your fingertips? You just found that?
Yeah, I went and looked at their schedule. They lost 7-4, 4-3, 1-0, 5-0, 6-1, 3-1, 6-5, beat the Marlins 10-0, then lost 4-0 to the Marlins, and that had them at 24 runs through 9 games.
Oh my
So it
God.
wasn't until
Without
they went and played the Phillies, their fourth series.
Yeah, they're not going to have a stat like those Mariners with the 9 straight series wins. They're getting shut out by the Pirates, I think, currently.
Yeah, well, Bryce
they
Elder
are.
was cruising and then gave up 3 home runs in the sixth inning.
Well, they are. It is, what's his name? Felter?
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
Falter.
That's
Yeah.
him.
Bailey Falter.
Yeah. All right, so let's go through. I saw, I don't tweet or X, but on Reddit, I saw a potential lineup for the 2026 World Baseball Classic Team USA team.
Ooh, I
And I'm
love
just gonna,
this.
what's that?
I love this.
So Mookie Betts playing second base, Bryce Harper at first, Aaron Judge right field, Gunnar Henderson at third, Bobby Witt Jr. shortstop, Corbin Carroll left, Mike Trout DH, Adley Rutschman at catcher, and then Jackson Merrill in center field. So you have Merrill batting ninth, and that dude's really, really good.
And then Judge is the captain, right?
Yeah, he committed.
They announced that. Yeah.
But Trout, you're going to get somebody, hopefully. I'll never, it's funny they wanted that matchup, right? Otani versus Trout.
Yeah.
And it's embedded in my
Well,
brain.
that's the sad thing for baseball is like that may be the most memorable baseball moment of the last like 5 years, and it wasn't even in Major League Baseball.
And as good as this is, they're going to have to go up against Japan
Yeah.
or Puerto Rico, Cuba. These teams are Dominican Republic. They're really good. I like
I,
this. I love the World Baseball Classic.
yeah.
Anyway, that was one little point of I can't I've learned I can't understand my own writing.
I'm pretty bad at that too. Yeah. I do like the idea of like in 10 years though, Trout like not say Trout retires, but then he's still on the World Baseball Classic team. Like he's like our Landon Donovan.
I like that. Just don't hurt him.
Because
He's
there's
hurt
going
right
to be
now.
guys on some of these other country teams, I think, that might not even be in, the majors that are,
Bartolo Colon.
Yadier
well,
Molina, maybe.
he'll probably be a coach,
That's right. Him and Pujols are fighting over who's.
He's coaching the Dominican, isn't he, Yadier?
Oh yeah, he was chosen over.
player coach, maybe.
Jackie Moon?
Yeah.
All right, I got a time to panic. Is that okay if I go with this?
Is it Joe Panic?
Name that team.
Giants?
Yes. All right. Time to panic. The Orioles, 10 games under 500. Did anyone see this coming?
This year, yeah. Last year I predicted them to win the World Series or at least play in the World Series, and then they like burnt out and then they didn't do anything this offseason and let Corbin Burns go.
Yeah, yeah. What is their pitching? I mean, isn't damn it, what's that one? Grayson Rodriguez, he's hurt, right?
They also have Kyle Bradish, who's like pretty good, but he's also hurt. And
Hmm.
so it's just like the land of misfit toys and Charlie Morton.
Oh, speaking of, I mean, that was a good call by the Braves to get rid of him.
I think the Orioles felt like a team that was like a year ahead when they got really good, but maybe they just weren't as good as we like. They just were a little overhyped.
Yeah. They have good hitting. I mean, Cedric Mullins,
Kinda.
Henderson, Holiday's, I guess, rising.
They're all
Rutschman.
inconsistent.
Yeah.
Like Westberg's hurt, Colt the outfielder's hurt, Krausen or
Yeah, Colton Cowser.
Oh,
something.
really?
Like he was hurt like second week. So like they've had a lot of bad breaks. Adley hasn't been the same since he hurt his shoulder.
Is
He,
it? So what do we think? Do you think they're going to come back? They're 7.5 games behind, 10 games under 500 right now. Lost five.
the division is way too competitive. And like if
That's the other thing. I think they might not be doing that. They look that much worse because of how good the Yankees and the Sox have been, I think, this year.
Yeah. White Sox, time to panic.
eh,
Always.
I guess they don't even care.
it sounds like Ian retired.
Yes. When they put that White Sox jersey on, they panic.
Mike, we're playing this week, and you went and you added Soriano last night or
Yep.
yesterday's game.
Yep.
And you have those moments like you try not to play specifically against your opponent in that like I like my team.
Yeah.
I didn't need to do what I did, and I went and found a pitcher. It was a White Sox,
Hmm.
can't even name him, Davis something. And I
Yeah.
was like, he'll do all right. And I thought, and as you make that ad, you know you shouldn't, but you do it.
Yeah. You're like, this is tonight's problem. And then tonight comes.
Davis Martin, I think and
Yeah.
then I look, especially because the Royals were like, it was a close game. They won three straight against the White
Hmm.
Sox. I was like, the White Sox are going to keep it close and maybe win 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
Narrator, White Sox lost 10-0. Davis Martin gave up like 4 to 6 runs. And I was just like looking at it and you just like shake your head like he did nothing but make
Yeah.
my team worse against you this week. And I could have
That's,
avoided it.
and I usually don't, I would prefer to never stream if I don't have to, but Ryan Presley gave up, I believe, 8 runs the other
And
day in one inning.
infinite because he didn't
Yeah.
even get an out.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I have to stream. I have to just chase.
Yeah.
Then you just chasing wins at that
Yeah.
point. Because
And I saw
quality
you added
starts, you cannot stream into quality starts. It's nearly impossible.
unless you're Paul Dodson somehow.
Or maybe Michael Lorenzen. I don't know what he's doing right now in that Royals game.
That's a Royal. He's probably gonna royally fuck me. Also Paul Dodson. Um
Quick tidbit
Angels.
about the Sox. When Bo Bichette was still on my team, and now I need to change my team name.
Yeah. That's on my
Watching
list.
that, it was like Blue Jays against the White Sox. No one tuned in but me. And Lena was walking by and was like, I thought they were the Red Sox. And I was like, that's a team. She's like, another Sox team. I was like, yeah, the White Sox. Like, how many fucking more teams are there in colored socks? That's stupid.
There
It's
should
like,
just be all Sox teams.
Are these the blue
yeah,
sleeves?
we've
Are
got
these
the
the yellow turtlenecks? Yeah.
we haven't tried yellow socks yet.
I
That's
like
also
that.
a great trivia question. Baseball teams that don't end with S.
Yep.
We should
There's
get
only
someone on and then challenge them on that.
Mm,
That's their rite of passage.
yeah,
isn't there only one or two teams?
it's just the Sox and Sox. Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah, the X's.
Okay. No, I'm gonna be thinking about that in the back of my mind all night.
Yeah,
All right.
Well, what about the
Yeah. Dave, give it up. The Angels, Trout's on the IL. They're 15 and 21. They started this, they do the same thing every year. They come out hot, around 500, maybe a little over. Now they're 15 and 21. Are they
yeah,
gonna compete?
and Joyce just went on. They just moved Joyce to the 60-day IL,
Oh
so not
no.
happy about that.
You had him on I saw him on your,
Yeah,
so are they done?
maybe don't throw 104.
Yeah, take it
Maybe
down a notch.
maybe just don't. You know,
So I'm just going through the last place teams because we have a lot of teams that are like the Twins and the Rangers, even the Rays that are like hovering 2 games under 500, and I think they're still in it. Even the
how
Braves.
about
I
the
mean,
wild card? What's the wild card standings look like?
um, that's just one click away there, Mike. Load, baby. We got the Tigers, Mariners, and Yankees leading their divisions, and then Guardians, Royals, and the Athletics without a home are leading the wild card, but the Red Sox, Astros, and Twins are right there, and they're all right around 500. So I guess they are not
Okay.
out of it, correct?
Yeah. Yeah,
National
Guardians,
League,
big series for the Guardians. They're playing the Phillies right now.
even the Mets Cubs is a good one because
Mets Cubs is it's a fun series.
they're playing right now,
Yep.
and they're both leaders in their divisions with the Dodgers. And then you have the wild card of the Padres, Giants, Phillies, and then you got the Diamondbacks and Brewers, and I'll throw the Cardinals in there because they're 500. They're right there too. How about that NL West? It's crazy.
It feels like you may have to win your division
Yeah,
if
they're
you want to
saying,
make the
although
playoffs. If
MLB
you're not,
Network was saying they think the East will sneak in one
yeah.
wild card team, Phillies or the
I
Braves.
mean, they can't all win 100 games.
They'll beat up each other. I think
Yeah.
they were saying the Diamondbacks haven't even played an NL West team yet.
No, the Mets just played the Diamondbacks twice in like 10 days
Yeah, I don't know the
because
schedule. And then
Gallon had two starts against the Mets straight.
He's not been great either this year.
No,
you
I'm
have him,
aware.
Mike, right?
Yes.
The Braves played the Dodgers 7 times now, or six or 7 times.
And they lost 6 times
But they're done with them. Like it's May. They don't have to play the Dodgers anymore. That's kind of fun, but
until October. And we know how that goes.
if we fucking make it. Um, Marlins 14 and 22, Pirates 12 and 26, about to be 13, and oh, the Braves scored a run. And then
They
the
gained a
Rockies,
yard.
they gained a yard. Uh, they scored a second run. I should keep talking shit.
4-2.
Um, we have the Rockies. Do we want to talk? Should we give some airspace to the Rockies? 6 and 31.
Jesus.
One of those six is the Braves.
I drafted a Rocky too, and he was probably the first guy I cut.
Who was it?
Michael Toglia.
Oh, I have something here. I only know his name because I did it's a good segue. Look at us. Look at Rai Tai. That's the cat. All right. I did a quick search of WRC plus. It's an advanced statistic. Does anyone know what it is? I don't know it unless I read it. Just checking.
Wins above replacement on.
Weighted runs created plus. It
That's it.
is an advanced statistic that evaluates a hitter's offensive production. It takes into account like stadium pitching, like if it's a pitcher's ballpark, things like that. Now, I'm going to
Okay.
go through it. Basically, it's like runs created. How great are they offensively? You can name the top five right now. Aaron Judge, Pete
Freddie
Alonso.
Freeman.
He is not in this top 20 here, I see.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Aaron Judge, Pete Alonso, Jonathan Aranda.
On the Rays?
Yeah, number three. Shohei Ohtani, Alex Bregman, Kyle Schwarber, Cal Raleigh, George Springer, Tatis, and Carroll. So that's the top 10. Now I bring up interesting about Springer. So I looked at plate appearances. All of them, like Aaron Judge has 165 and Pete Alonso 169. Those are kind of like the
Hmm.
highest. George Springer has 128. So yeah, I guess he qualifies. Now if I go to the back, like the bottom, that's where Michael Toglia stands. He has 40, he has 140 plate appearances. He's the 12th worst hitter based on this statistic. I love that segue, Adam. You talk
So
about him, I bring him up.
that means he's like a bad hitter in a regular ballpark, and somehow
Yeah.
in like a really good ballpark, he's a worse hitter even.
The only one worse is Stuart Fairchild.
That's a made up name.
He's on the Braves. Um, so looking
Oh
at
yeah,
the
he's the one that he looks like a. I think I saw highlighted him, and I'm like, that guy looks the least like a baseball player I've ever seen in my life.
yeah.
He looks like Lars Nootbaar pretending to be Lars Nootbaar.
Oh, great quote. That's funny. Nice. So Marcus Simeon is the fourth worst hitter based on WRC plus.
Wow.
And then we have Spencer Steer, who's still on my team, as the seventh worst. Jordan Walker, Michael Conforto, Dylan Cruz, Ryan Mountcastle, oh, and then Andrew Vaughn. And I want to just bring this back to that tweet I sent out. It's
That
not my,
he's stealing at bats from Elko.
it's so funny. I actually looked back at it because I wanted to laugh one day. Tweeting to the White Sox, you're the reason I have the suicide hotline on speed dial. White Sox, we want to be clear. Suicide is never a punchline. If you're struggling, text MLB to blah, blah, blah. Then this dude replies, allow me to be clear. If Andrew Vaughn continues to steal at bats from Elko, I will do it. I, I'm telling you, I haven't laughed like that. It was so funny to me. But I think that stat means something. Offensive
Mm.
production. Michael Harris was in the bottom 10 for a while. When we were trying to do our last pod on like April 22nd, I had that bottom 10.
April 22nd-ish.
I looked back and saw it was on my save date. Um, Michael Harris was there, but somebody else was there, and I'm trying to segue again to the trade that Paul and I had. There's a story. So the trade was Gunnar Henderson. I got him for Austin Riley and Merrill
Okay.
Kelly. Um, before I go on my rant, do you want to say anything about it? Did I lose? Did I win?
I'm sick of seeing everyone trade with Dave. You can't keep getting away with it.
He did it
And
again.
Paul, nonetheless, gets to just have Marco Gonzalez as a streamer and then gets Merrill Kelly and Austin Riley out of it.
Yeah. My team, the reason I was doing this is I needed a shortstop. And
Right after we talked about trading,
but I didn't like your shortstops. But I needed to get rid of a third base. I
I
thought,
don't like my shortstops either.
but I was, so I could, Austin Riley was my trade piece. He's leading the league in Ks. I hate watching him. He's hitting. He's a good hitter, but when he gets out, he strikes out, and it's hard. My philosophy was always to like look for walks over Ks. He's not doing it. And then Edmonds on the IL, and then Royce Lewis just came back as a third baseman. And now I'm hoping he stays healthy because he's my third baseman now. But anyway, this is Adam, you'll like this. So I started talking, I was looking at shortstops I wanted to go after, and I went after Mookie Betts, who has him the worst person to
Uh,
deal with in trading, Kyle Turner. And yada yada, we get to the point where he starts basically yelling at me that Austin Riley's not even close to Mookie Betts. And now I agree that Mookie is probably here and Austin Riley's here. So I needed a little more to get that Mookie, similar to what I did with Gunnar Henderson, a little more. But he starts asking for Cal Raleigh with Austin Riley for his catcher, which is Yainer Diaz and
Mm.
Betts. Like that could have been a trade. But it goes back to that WRC plus. Yainer Diaz was that bottom 10 on April 22nd. And I was like, I can't say yes to getting rid of Cal Raleigh, who's in the top 10 of that. Anyway, that's how it got to. And then I just sent Austin Riley for Gunnar Henderson. And then Paul started talking back, but then he was asking for like Santander and Riley. And I was like,
and next year's first round pick.
yeah, I was like, I don't know. I think he's going to go off. And he asked for Fromber first. And I was like, I think that's a clear win for you. So I was like, I'll go with Merrill Kelly as like, and I think that's fair enough. I think he wins right now. And we'll see if Gunnar can hit. That's really what it's coming down to.
Well, yeah, I feel like you would have been in more of a like Riley's like a proven hitter. Granted, he's not hitting well this year. Like what you mentioned earlier when we were talking about the Orioles, like he's Henderson's good, but he's not like solidified himself. So I'm surprised that you had to throw in an extra piece. So I was a little upset to see that you got rid of two, like as if Austin. And granted, there's like a Braves bias to that, but like that Austin Riley's not good enough to like go straight up with Gunnar Henderson, given like the years and all that. I get, but
Plus, I think Henderson in our league, being a keeper league, might have a little more. It
yeah.
just makes you think about him a little bit higher.
He also is like, he had 21 steals last week or last year, sorry. And then Riley doesn't steal. They're very close, but Gunnar has less strikeouts, better OPS over time. Like if you look at it was Gunnar a little ahead of Riley. Like it wouldn't have been one for one. I think was willing to lose this one at least to get a shortstop that
And
hopefully
you
will
watch
produce.
the Braves consistently, so you know if you have a feel for if Riley, even if he turns around, does he have an opportunity to still be like run producing, like with guys around him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like what's
I
the
mean,
ceiling for that? Really,
they're both kind of they could be 40, 100 guys.
there's some, yeah,
It's just like Gunnar could have that running piece and less strikeouts, more walks. That was kind of it was just like a little, he was better and he's younger and I could get him for 3 years. So it's like, I don't know. I think hopefully it's fair enough. That was really where I was coming from. But it worked for my team. If Royce Lewis hits, that's really what it comes down to. We only have a couple, we have like, I just got the warning here, 10 minutes. So anything else you guys want to talk about before we go on to
mm,
anything else here I have written?
just a little something we were talking about in text, Dave, about
Yeah. Good.
how uh maybe drafting players that are going to help your team, but you don't like them personally as like maybe a person or for whatever reason, like you have a bias. And same thing for your personal favorite teams. Like I have Alex Bregman, who's been great on my fantasy team, and I don't like him at all. I didn't, it hurt me to take him, but I needed a third baseman, and he's been great.
He's
And
been
in a
good.
similar vein to that, like I'm a huge Mets fan, and Juan Soto's a Met, and I fucking hated that guy, and I'm still struggling with that because every time he shimmies and smiles, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Well, that shirt we had, Mike, um, Joe Kelly,
Yeah, yeah,
he threw at Bregman in
yeah,
that was that scene, and we all were like, Major League Baseball was behind that.
yep.
So we all, I think everyone hates Bregman, but you're right,
Yes, every
he
time
produces.
Bregman hits a home run, an angel loses its wings. That's
But Juan Soto is a perfect candidate for that. I mean, the guy he backs up his cockiness clearly,
yep.
but he's hard to root for if he's not on your team. I was saying I rooted for him when he was beating up on those Astros when he was a National. It
Hmm.
was fun to watch him stare down Justin Verlander and then hit him, take him yard. Last year, even with the Yankees, I wasn't rooting for him then, but that was a clutch home run against the Guardians.
Yeah, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah,
But a big one for this is Bryce Harper. So he leaves the Nats and goes to the Phillies. It's like that cognitive dissonance. The Phillies have to like reroute their brains to be like,
yeah,
no, I like Bryce Harper. Like
yeah.
Lute now has like hair gel that's named after Bryce Harper. So like that's kind of where we're
Well,
at.
he did great, but he pandered so hard to Philadelphia those first few years that he just by necessity he ingratiated himself with them. Like, oh, he wears a Philly fanatic headband. He likes us.
Yeah,
Look at those cleats.
Yeah,
all the kids have these. I'm coaching 8U baseball. They're all Bryce Harper cleats. So he's everywhere. I can't escape him.
disgusting.
I don't like Bryce Harper, but I do. It was 2 years ago, I guess, because last year I wasn't as worried about the Phillies making a run as I was 2 years ago, and it was that I don't even know who they were playing, but like you just knew he was gonna hit a home run,
That
and it was
highlight, yeah,
that iconic like left center, just like
Padres.
2-2 pitch, and it just like, my God,
they have two of them. They got Harper has that one, and then there's the Bryce Stott highlight
yeah,
coming up with no audio from the booth and it's just the crowd singing his song. Like,
yeah.
It
Which is cool. Like that's the cool part of the Phillies that you like
yeah,
to, but then you just interact with a Phillies fan and you lose all hope.
it's true. Like it's good baseball. Like if you were a baseball fan, oh my
yep,
God, that feeling of hitting that home run and like
yeah,
rooting for that. But
Yeah, objectively, it's like, holy shit, that was awesome.
yeah.
Like, could the Braves ever do that?
I got to experience a little bit with the Pete Alonso walk off against the
oh,
Brewers last year. That was incredible.
I was watching with Christina's dad, who's a Mets fan,
Yeah,
and we both jumped up and high fived. We're
and
literally
for
like screaming like girls.
yeah for
I was
and then
rooting
for
for
it
the
to be
Mets
that
pretty hard.
guy,
And no one's
like
been so excited ever to beat the Brewers.
Oh yeah, Brewers just keep they'll go up 2-1 in a series and then just lose that first round no matter what.
Yeah. I do
Um,
have one quick thing to talk about, the
yeah,
Devers fiasco.
yeah.
yes,
I just saw, I don't go on social media much right now with my situation, but when I do go on, It's Dos Equis, and um, there was like a someone like Baseball Reference or somebody, the baseballer like wrote like, and I think it was like a fan entry, but it was like you take Mookie, who switched from right field, like a position he's actually phenomenal at, and like won
Hmm.
multiple Gold Gloves, and was traded like a highly touted, like valued player when he left the Red Sox. Ended up with the Dodgers, and now he's shifted to the infield. Now he plays shortstop, which is arguably the hardest position to play, and is also doing that with ease, and they're still winning. And then Mookie or Rafi Devers, his old teammate, can't even switch to first base, and like
Hmm.
he's acting like a child. That they told me to keep my glove away, like justifying his move from third base, which he's not good at anyway, to go play
Yeah.
DH. Clearly not good at hitting this year. Sorry, Tom. But then, like, to then just be on this high horse, it's like, okay, man. Like we just talked about how the Red Sox are off to this awesome start, and you're going to be the thorn in its side. Like you're
Right.
Yeah.
going to be the Manny Ramirez,
Yeah. He's adding a problem they don't need right now at
right?
all. Yeah.
Like you already have your money. Like just do what they tell you to do, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just it's base you're playing Major League Baseball. You are a multi-millionaire. Try and help the
That was
team win. It's
the
a team sport. You're supposed to do
yeah.
this.
That was
Like your
exactly
teammate
the
just goes down, and you'd say go look in the market. Not
yeah. Well, that's like Anthony Davis said the Lakers need a center, and now his ass is playing in Dallas.
yeah,
You
right.
know?
It's good you brought that up. That's a hot topic we needed to talk about. That text that you sent Mike was funny, and then
Yeah, the
Tom
meme.
said,
Yeah, why do you give me your hardest battles?
yeah,
Talking to Jesus, and he says, "I'm asking you to play first base for 30 million a year."
and then Tom with like the manager needs help tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Oh
sucks, man.
man,
Sounds
that
hard.
sucks.
All right, we got under 3 minutes here. Let's talk about music, baby. Any new music you want to share with us?
I just keep listening to that super catchy song, the Miles Smith Stargazing song.
I
It's
haven't
stuck in
heard
my
it.
head for like 5 days.
I got
It's a good
on
one.
Miles Smith.
Yeah.
I kept trying to push an album by Dope Lemon onto Dave, and he doesn't like the guy's voice. So
Yeah, that'll happen with Dave.
yeah, but just ask him about the Heavy Heavy. He's got 18 YouTube videos to send you. Actually, don't ask him about it. He'll send you more than 18.
I'm gonna
I
X that
remember
out. I'm Xing it
I
out.
recommended an album, and there was one song that there was a backup girl singer on. Dave was like, "I like this one," and that was the only song she was on.
This reminds me of that one song by Blink. Have you heard this album?
I remember. I think I remember what you're talking about, Mike. So
Yeah,
I crossed out the heavy.
it was probably Silver Sun Pickups or something like
Yes,
that. Yeah,
that was a good album. I didn't mind that.
yeah.
That was good. 1 minute. The Weeknd's new album. Have you listened?
I haven't. I didn't even know he had a new one.
I'm gonna
As
put it
good as
up.
the last one.
No, it's not as
Yeah.
good though.
Yeah.
Dawn FM
No,
was good.
not as good as the last one. I'm sorry, it is probably his last one.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, oh shit.
It's probably his last one. I think it's good. Each listen gets better. Um, there's a transition from there's most popular song. His single is "Open Hearts," and I think that's up where I think it's better than "Blinding Lights." My
Okay.
daughter agrees. We talked about it. My 9-year-old daughter agrees. But Baptized in Fear is the song, and then the transition into Open Hearts, really cool. And then Adam, you'll like because you like the other song about LA. He has a song called Take Me Back to LA on this song on this album. I like that. It's really cool. Um,
Yeah.
it's like you have and Christina likes the song Drive. It's good stuff. It's a good album. They had to like you have to find it. Dawn FM was like straight through listen. This
Yeah.
one, it's not like that to me. Um,
Like 22 songs. It's a marathon.
one last thing about music, Mike Finch, What It Is to Burn, that album, they did something on Spotify, maybe YouTube Music, but they replaced the old song and put on like a new synth song that's not as good. And then I came across, it like came up on my Spotify, the old one back.